Hey, good day to you all. On to Sonnet 30. If you haven't already, listened to my analysis of Sonnet 29. It leads into this, although you can just listen to this on its own. Sonnet 30 could be the greatest poem ever written. I know I say that kind of stuff a bit, but I mean it. In the poem, the persona could be Shakespeare, talks about going into reflective states and all the all the sad things he then thinks of, but then how he feels better when he thinks of his friend, the person he loves. uh, when I look at this poem, and I've just recorded the video for Sonnet 29, and when I read over Sonnet 30, it's an order of magnitude better. The way the word choice, the rhythm, uh, you know, the entire package, the way it works together to map these shifts in emotional states, the subtle interplay of sadness, deep grief, humor, love. It's so uh, just. I used the word elegant last time. Even that word's not good enough. But there's such a pathos, a delicate perfection in it. Maybe that's it, delicate perfection. Anyways, I'll get going. Went to the sessions of sweet silent thought. Now, a session of sweet silent thought is when you think, I'm gonna have a little sit down and just have a quiet think. It sets us up as if these sessions are good things, calming things, beautiful things. The way the sound goes, it's like being hushed, like you're a child. Went to the sessions of sweet silent thought. I love the way those words want to come out my mouth. I love that when I think that this was written over 400 years ago, and the way they want to come out my mouth is like the same way that they clearly wanted to come out Shakespeare's mouth. So much has changed, and yet so little has changed. Went to the sessions of sweet silent thought. Like it's a good thing. And yeah, next line. I summon up remembrance of things past. I think about the past, and then it turns. That sort of relaxed, peaceful quality of the first two lines just suddenly flips. I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought. Already there's a dash of humor in there. I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought. All the things I wanted, I didn't get. I never got what I wanted. Or maybe not never, but I didn't. I sigh, you go, sigh, I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought. And then more humor. And with old woes, new wail my dear time's waste. With old woes, things that bothered me in the past, I new wail, I bring them back again and think about all the time I wasted. And with old woes, new wail my dear time's waste. That pairing, old woes, new wail, old woes, new wail. My goodness. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow? Then can I cry when I'm not used to crying? Such a beautiful line. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow? And this is the real best line. I say that all the time. For precious friends hid in death's dateless night. Everyone used to die back then. I mean, okay, people still die, but life expectancy wasn't what it is now. Disease, misadventure, murder, all those things. People died more. For precious friends hid in death's dateless night. It's just a stunning way to describe death. We sleep every night, but time passes and we wake again. And the date has moved on. But what is death but a dateless night? Far out. So yeah, then can I drown an eye unused to flow for precious friends hid in death's dateless night? And weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe. When you think of old loves and you got over your old love, but then you think about it and you do some more crying. You're not over it at all. It comes back. And weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and moan the expense of many a vanished sight. It's interesting, the kind of money, the link with money, money metaphor is sort of, it runs throughout this one. The expense, moan the expense of many a vanished sight. So things that I once had in my life are gone. And that's painful as well. That's what's meant by expense. We get to the four lines where, when when you get thinking and you think you're maybe having a sweet session, a session of sweet silent thought, but what you're actually doing is ruminating, obsessing. These next four lines embody the rumination process brilliantly. Then can I grieve at grievances foregone, and heavily from woe to woe tell o'er the sad account of forebemoaned moan, which I knew pay as if not paid before. It's this process of rumination. Then can I grieve? Then can I feel sad about grievances foregone? Then I'm sad about things I felt sad about before, but that I got over. You see, the same things keep coming up again and again in this poem. The whole poem itself is like an embodiment of rumination, of digging up old things, tearing open wounds that have already healed. Nietzsche talks about. So it's a really, common idea. So then can I grieve at grievances foregone, and heavily from woe to woe tell o'er. And so, like, heavily, with great sadness, I'm going over my woes. Again, it's the same point, line after line. The sad account of forebemoaned moan. He's making fun of himself here. The sad account, it's like all of these terrible things that happened to me. Of forebemoaned moan. This is like a thing like a thing I moaned about. I was moaning about moaning, a forebemoaned moan. A complaint about a complaint about a complaint. Again, the obsessive process. How amazing is it? Which I knew pay, as if not paid before. It's like, again, that kind of money link. It's like, but I got over it. I paid the debt of that grievance, and now I'm thinking of it yet again. So the same sentiment arises in the poem, I don't know how many times, 10, 15 times. And then whoosh, flips again at the end. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. It flips from this turgid, tripping over itself, obsessing about obsessing about obsessing, to this absolute simplicity of those last two, of that rhyming couplet at the end. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. And so the trouble just suddenly lifts. So you see how the whole poem goes. It goes from this, yeah, I'm going to have a bit of a think. I'm just going to have a bit of a relax, the sessions of sweet silent thought. And then straight away, the obsessions kick in. And they're real. I mean, thinking of friends who have died, thinking of lost loves, I mean, that stuff is horrible. And yet he makes fun of himself throughout the whole thing, even as it's going deeper and deeper and deeper into the process of obsession, and then suddenly whoosh, out, redeemed at the end with love. And now for the poem in its entirety. When to the sessions of sweet silent thought I summon up remembrance of things past, I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes new wail my dear time's waste. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow for precious friends hid in death's dateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and moan the expense of many a vanished sight. Then can I grieve at grievances foregone, and heavily from woe to woe tell o'er the sad account of forebemoaned moan, which I knew pay, as if not paid before. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end.